In 1 Kings 6, we read that Solomon is building his temple. And in verse 7, it says, "In building the temple, only blocks dressed at the quarry were used, and no hammer, chisel, or any other iron tool was heard at the temple site while it was being built." And in 1 Corinthians 13:1, we read that if we do something without love, we end up sounding like a clashing gong or a clanging cymbal. What I'm trying to get at is, don't complain. Just because your temple isn't built doesn't mean that you don't have the title. Solomon wasn't any less of a king just because the temple wasn't built yet. You are a sheep among wolves, and when you constantly complain and you don't watch the fruit of your lips, you are drawing unnecessary attention to yourself. You're prolonging the process of building this temple, of whatever God has told you to do on earth. In the book of Nehemiah, we read that he builds the wall for Jerusalem. And during this time, he was not making a sound. He wasn't complaining, but the enemy still saw what he was doing. People were coming and trying to put a roadblock in front of him, but he continued on. It took Solomon 13 years to build the temple, and you as a child of God, you are crowned with honor. You're crowned with his glory, and you shouldn't be caught up with civilian affairs, meaning don't get lost in the sauce. Like, don't get caught up in complaining and losing sight of why you're put on this earth. You're here to build, you're here to serve the Lord. And lastly, in Luke 10, when Jesus gives the parable about the wounded man, and the only individual that helped this wounded man was not a religious person, but a Samaritan, aka a non-believer or a Gentile. When you're in the process of building your temple, let's just say you're going to work and you have this coworker that just vexes you, that you can't stand. Maybe that's the Samaritan that God sent your way, and you just don't see it as helping because they annoy you. But pay attention to what they're trying to teach you, or else you're just going to end up sounding like a clanging cymbal. The more you complain, it's not going to help out your situation. You have to do things in love. Love doesn't mean being passive. See, when Nehemiah had his enemies constantly trying to stop him, he was firm with them. He didn't speak unnecessary things. He didn't complain. He told them what it was, and then he kept it pushing. He did what he needed to do. So watch the things that you speak to life, because we wrestle not against flesh and blood. The things you complain about, the enemy thrives off it. They grow under hate, under negativity. So ultimately, what I'm saying is, you are a child of God and you are crowned. So act like it. Uphold yourself in that manner. The world doesn't need to treat you highly favored for you to believe that you're highly favored in the eyes of God.